Social music talk.
But if people were to ask me, and people ask me, all the time, what do you think is the biggest problem in radio? It's simple. Well, one, it's so homogenized now.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely trying to appeal to the broadest and maybe sometimes some might even think lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
But
and what you mean by is it kind of has a real generic cookie cutter approach, right?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, Alex, and I mean, here's the thing. I think like talk stations, news talk, sports, that's always going to be up-to-date, relevant content. If you want to listen to Taylor Swift just came out with a new album. If you want to listen to Taylor Swift, how many different options do you have to listen to Taylor Swift? You could YouTube
million.
her. You could, well, I know she had a problem with Spotify, but I mean, if you want to listen to U2, there's so many more options than just your local radio station now. But if you want to listen to the Oakland A's game, or you want to listen to the San Francisco Giants game, you've got to go to their radio station, and you have that content.
That's why KNDR is the big winner, and K-Fog disappeared.
Right. But again, these radio stations need their money.
Yeah.
They need money. That's why when they're selling these streaming stations, streaming has actually been good for radio because it gives them another revenue source. Like I told you, when you do a commercial, if you buy a commercial on, let's say a K-Fog was still around, if you want to buy their regular broadcast commercials, you buy that. But if you want to be on their streaming, that's another at buy that you have to make. But still, with all that said, stations' stop sets have become so bloated. So you're dealing with a product, Alex, now that's been totally homogenized that you can get on your phone has probably 6 options where you can listen to any of that stuff.
Without commercials.
And some of the stuff and even Spotify and even Pandora, they're running commercials, but they don't run any more than 3 commercials in a stop set.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking, Alex, there's stations that are running 8, 10-minute stop sets.
Wow.
And there's a station in Dallas.
Now, my question, it begs the question, why are they doing that? Is it just because they're greedy and they're trying to sell as many spots as possible?
Well, yeah, they need the money.
Yeah, but at the cost of ratings, right? Has that been shown to hurt ratings?
I don't know. I mean, Alex, the whole rating system is so... it kind of goes back to...
Nielsen People Meter, is that considered sketchy these days, or is that considered respectable? Nielsen People Meter.
I think it's more respectful than a diary. I mean, The thing is, you may have a grandma that goes and she fills up her tank of gas and buys a pack of cigarettes at the local AMP, and she's in there and they're listening to a rock station. Your 87-year-old grandma just became a rock station. She's become a listener to that station because it popped up on her people meter. But she did listen to that station because it shows, it sensed on there on her little pager that it went off. I think I would like to see more studies. I think Nielsen should do this where, it was kind of going what I was talking about with Spotify controlling anywhere from 11 to 14% of the music audience.
Mm-hmm.
Radio still touts that it controls 82% of all music listening,
mm-hmm.
which that's a great number, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Alex, that's all of radio.
Right.
So let's take Sacramento, for example. Remember, iHeartMedia is telling you that Spotify has 11% of the audience. If you go to Sacramento and you took the 82%, you have to divide that between all the radio stations. So that comes out to about 0.79% of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, let's take out, some of the NPR stations maybe, or some of these stations that
It's probably about
again,
15 main stations in SAC.
Okay, perfect. You take 15 main radio stations. You're looking at 4%. Each station, they probably breaking out to 4%.
Mm-hmm.
So you would still, if you did a commercial buy in Sacramento, California, it would take 3 to 4 stations to buy to be able to have the percentage of listeners that are listening to, say, Spotify. So, and again, going back to the ratings thing, and there's people that still love, like in Sacramento, they love the Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagle,
classic
the rock station here. Yeah, for years now, KFBK, our news talk station, was the 12 plus, the beauty pageant numbers, overwhelming number one station in the market.
Right.
Now the Eagle has taken over that. So they still have a lot, and they'll show you their ratings or whatever. You got to remember, too, Alex, when you're looking at ratings, those ratings are really reflective of the time that they're playing music,
mm-hmm.
not the time that they're playing commercials.
Right, exactly.
So
there's always people button-pushing wars.
Button-pushing wars.
In the car.
We have 2 classic rock stations here in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
So people's advertising dollars are there's so many new avenues of, now that there's digital, people are buying banner display ads on the web.
Mm-hmm. They're
buying connected TV. Those are commercials on on your smart TVs now. And you got newspapers, magazines. There's just if you're a business owner, you're probably having 11 people calling you every day to have you advertise on their whatever it is that they have.
Right.
So with that, you need to get the money. It's very competitive, Alex. So I think these stations don't really even they want to get the buy no matter what it takes to get the buy. And there used to be times.
Let me ask you that. Let me just ask you something about that. Say, like in Humboldt County.
Yeah.
Do you guys advertise cannabis?
Right now, I do not think we have any of the cannabis stores on there. Now, the company that I work for, with McNaughton, with our digital, we have a platform. It's called the MMJ Cannabis Network, where cannabis dispensaries can advertise banner ads on the web. That's when, you see a story on your laptop or you go to Facebook and you see those banner ads on there. We can sell those ads for cannabis stores.
Okay.
That's very restrictive.
That's because you have to be an adult to be on that type of website?
Well, what it is the company that we work with at Accelerant, which incidentally is based out of Denver, Colorado, they negotiated with 5,000. Some websites will not allow cannabis advertising on there.
Right.
Some websites that like even like my newspapers, we use Google as our ad source. So if people want to buy ads outside and buy banner ads on our website, it's facilitated through Google.
Right.
Google will not accept.
I understand. I've had that on my site, Playlist Research. But are you talking about Google AdSense? Oh.
Yeah, they will not. They will not accept cannabis, and if you are using that platform,
okay,
you run the risk of losing Google AdSense.
Right, because it just Google. But a lot of that probably has to do with the federal. They're going along with federal law instead of just state laws.
It could be. Now in Texas, with my radio stations there, this is just as recent as 2 years ago. Vaping was. There was a time, Alex, where I was like worried how I was going to have separation. There was a time I think I had about 9 different vape shops on my CHR station in Sherman, Texas.
Sounds stoned. Oh, by the way, we have a cannabis show coming up right after this show, coming up at 4 o'clock Pacific time, and that is
right on.
Ubong 420. So
that sounds like a cannabis show to me.
it's it. Right now,
Good
it's just
name.
talk about it, but sometimes we throw in music. So,
Well, talking about here's kind of what answers that question. Though, my rock station, 106.7 The Edge, we have a show. We do our Grateful Dead show, Dead Air,
mm-hmm.
and my DJ Cosmic Charlie out there, he has the largest private collection of Grateful Dead bootlegs in the world.
Wow.
And I mean, yeah. So
that's the format, right? Or for the show, at least, right?
Just for the show we're playing, it's a lot of Grateful Dead. Yeah, it's all Grateful Dead. You got to remember, Eureka and Arcata is like Berkeley in the 60s on steroids. I mean, they're still very, whatever. You could get lost there.
Right.
Well, we were running this show for 1 hour. No, excuse me. It was 2 hours once a week. And then we were doing it for 2 hours twice a week. And finally, the president of my company called me and said, Rob, why are we running this Grateful Dead show so much? We're not a Grateful Dead station. I said, Bill, you know how many, the fertilizer and all the equipment, the horticulture, if you want to, finger quotes in the air, tomatoes.
Right.
We had so many advertisers that wanted to advertise on that show that I couldn't separate it. I had to expand the show.
Social music.